Before we begin, take a moment. Pause whatever else you're doing. Because today, we reflect on the life, career, and legacy of a woman who helped shape an entire generation's relationship with media, music, and truth. Ananda Lewis wasn't just a face on TV. She was a force. At a time when black women were rarely given center stage in the entertainment world, she stood front and center, intelligent, confident, bold, and compassionate. And now, at the age of 52, she's gone. This is not just an obituary. It's not just another news headline. This is a tribute to a woman who broke barriers, who brought real issues into living rooms across America, and who used her voice again and again to uplift others, even as her own battles remained unseen. This is the story of Ananda Lewis. Ananda Lewis was born on March 21, 1973, in Los Angeles, California. Her name Ananda means bliss in Sanskrit. And throughout her life, she lived up to that name, not because her life was easy, but because she sought purpose in everything she did. Raised primarily by her grandmother, Ananda experienced firsthand the complex dynamics of family, race, and identity. She was highly gifted from a young age and went on to study at Howard University, one of the country's most prestigious historically black colleges, where she earned a degree in history. But even as a student, it was clear that she wasn't just studying the past, she was preparing to change the future. Before stepping into the media spotlight, Ananda worked as a volunteer counselor for at-risk youth, helping children navigate abuse, trauma, and poverty. That foundation, working with the voiceless, would become a thread that ran through every part of her public life. In the late 1990s, MTV wasn't just a music channel, it was a cultural engine. And at its helm stood a select group of VJs, who became household names. Among them, Ananda Lewis stood out not just for her style or delivery but for her substance. She joined the MTV News team, and quickly became one of its most recognizable and respected figures. But unlike many VJs who stuck to quick commentary or celebrity fluff, Ananda approached her job with journalistic seriousness. She engaged with artists like Tupac Shakur, Lauryn Hill, and Jay-Z in interviews that often felt more like soul-searching conversations than media soundbites. What made her different? She listened. She asked tough questions. She didn't perform, she connected. Viewers, particularly young women and people of color, saw themselves in her. At a time when television rarely reflected real people, Ananda brought authenticity to the screen. Her popularity soared. And with it came the weight of responsibility, a responsibility she never ran from. 2001, Ananda made a career-defining move. She left MTV at the height of her fame to host her own syndicated, daytime, talk show, The Ananda Lewis Show. It was a risk. But Ananda had never been afraid of risk, especially when it meant creating a platform for deeper conversations. The show focused on stories that mattered: family dynamics, mental health, education, self-worth. In a media landscape dominated by shock value talk shows and celebrity gossip, Ananda's show stood in stark contrast. It was thoughtful, it was healing, and it was deeply human. Though the show only lasted one season, its impact was undeniable. Many critics say it was ahead of its time, a prototype for the kind of emotionally intelligent, socially aware content we now see in modern platforms. And to the viewers who tuned in, Ananda wasn't a celebrity, she was a sister, a mentor, a guide. Following the end of her talk show, Ananda took a step back from Hollywood, but she never stopped working. She focused on motherhood, education, and activism. She homeschooled her son, promoted holistic health, and became a passionate advocate for natural living and wellness, often going against the grain of mainstream thinking. But in 2020, Ananda shocked the world with a personal revelation. She had been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in 2018 and had been battling it privately for nearly 2 years. In an emotional and unfiltered video on social media, Ananda broke her silence. She explained her decision to keep her diagnosis private, shared her frustration with medical biases affecting Black women, and pleaded with her audience to get regular mammograms. That video wasn't just a confession, it was a call to action. And it echoed across social media, saving countless lives and igniting conversations about racial disparities in healthcare. Even in the face of death, Ananda Lewis put others first. Ananda's death is more than just a personal loss, it's a cultural moment. Because she represented something rare in the entertainment industry: an unfiltered, unbought, and unapologetic voice. One that challenged, questioned, and ultimately transformed. She used her platform not for fame, but for purpose. She could have coasted on celebrity. Instead, she chose truth. Her impact on young women, especially Black and brown girls, is immeasurable. She showed them that intelligence was beautiful, that confidence could be quiet, that integrity could be louder than applause. And now, as tributes pour in from across the world, from fellow VJs, from artists, from fans, one thing is clear: Ananda Lewis didn't just host shows. She changed lives. Since her passing, the outpouring of love has been overwhelming. Former colleagues like Lala Anthony, Sway Calloway, and Serena Elchel have spoken about her authenticity and brilliance. Artists like Alicia Keys and Queen Latifah posted tributes, calling her a truth teller and warrior woman. But perhaps most moving are the messages from ordinary people, the young woman who decided to pursue journalism because of Ananda, the mother who changed her health habits after seeing her cancer video, the countless voices who felt seen and heard simply by watching her on screen. Ananda Lewis may be gone, but the echoes of her voice are still traveling, and they're not stopping anytime soon. To the world, Ananda Lewis was a TV host, a journalist, a celebrity. But to those who truly watched her, she was a teacher. She taught us how to speak up without shouting, how to challenge systems with compassion, how to live with grace, and yes, how to die with dignity. At 52, her life was far too short. But it was not incomplete. Because every day she spent in the public eye, and even the ones she spent outside of it, she used to build something bigger than herself. Today, we don't just mourn her, we honor her. By remembering her words, by reflecting her spirit, and by continuing her fight. Rest in power, Ananda Lewis. May your truth live on in all of us.